Hello everyone. Today we will be discussing the module Branches of Linguistics. This comes under the course English Language History and Contemporary Linguistics for MA English students. So we know that linguistics is the scientific study of languages. It entails the comprehensive, precise and objective analysis of almost all aspects of language. So today we'll be discussing on the psycholinguistics and social linguistics, which are basically two branches of linguistics. So, psycholinguistics is a study that combines the fields of linguistics as well as psychology. It's not about how we speak to other human beings, it's about how the language is being processed in our own minds or in our own brains. The common aim of psycholinguistics is to find out the structures and processes which underline a human being's ability to speak and understand a particular language. And psycholinguistics are not necessarily interested in language interaction between the people, but rather they're trying above all to probe into what is happening within the minds of the individual. And at its heart, psycholinguistic work consists of two questions. The basis of psycholinguistics is what knowledge of language is needed for us to use a particular language. And the second question, which psycholinguistics put forward, is the processes that are involved in the usage of language. Child language acquisition is one of the major concepts in psycholinguistics, and language acquisition is the process by which humans acquire the capacity to perceive, produce, and use words to understand and communicate. It involves the picking up of diverse capacities, including syntax, phonetics, and an extensive vocabulary. So we know that child language acquisition has different stages, but it varies for individual to individuals. One child, attaining a particular stage will be in 5 months. That won't be the same for the other child or the other individual. So children acquire language in stages, and different children reach the various stages at different times. Although they have one thing in common. So one thing in common in all the kids is that it is typically developing children learning the same language, which follow an almost identical pattern in the consequences of the stages that they go through. So there are different stages in child language acquisition. The first stage is generally known as the cooing stage, which is till the 6th month of a baby. So in this period of time, the baby or the individual will use phonemes from every languages. The second stage is known as babbling, in which it is generally up to 9 months. In that particular stage, the individual or the baby will selectively use phonemes from their native language. And the third stage is one word utterance period. This is like till 12 months. And during this stage, the baby will start using single words. They'll pick out single words, and they'll call out the names of mom or dad. During this period of time, the baby will be speaking or telling the words of foods or toys or something like that. And the next stage is the telegraphic speech stage, which is still 2 years. And during this stage, the baby will use multi-word utterances, but that lack in function. And the final stage is normal speech age, which is till 5 years. And during this stage, we assume that the baby will almost use normal developed speech. But this stages can vary. Sometimes the individual will be developing a full-fledged language only at the age of 7. So this stage can vary from individual to individual. The next concept in psycholinguistics is the speech production. So speech production is a process that begins with the talker formulate a message in his or her mind to transmit to the listener via speech. So there are different stages in speech production. First, there will be a stage called conceptualization, where in which we will be, the concept is being made in our mind. The second stage is the formulation. How are we going to articulate it? And the third stage is the actual articulation of that particular sentence or words or phrases. And the last one is self-monitoring. After we utter words or sentences, our brain will self-monitor. So this is known as the speech production. The next main concept in psycholinguistics is the speech recognition. So, speech recognition is the ability of a machine or program to identify words and phrases in spoken language and convert them to a machine readable format. So, alternatively referred to as speech recognition is the voice recognition, which is a computer software program or hardware device with the ability to decode the human voice. So, voice recognition is commonly used to operate the devices. So, the rudimentary speech recognition software has a limited vocabulary of words and phrases, and it may only identify these if they are spoken very clearly. So, it has got its own limitations. The next concept or the next branch of linguistics that we're going to deal with today is the sociolinguistics. So, sociolinguistics is a branch of linguistics that deals with the relationship between language and the society. So, we know that people from different social background will be having different kind of language. The vocabulary a teacher uses will be won't be same as that of a person from the medicine field or medical field or from the legal field. So the according to the social condition or the social background of the person, their language also varies. The social linguistic deals with the effect of language on society and the effect of society on language, both. The language is the communication tool and the society is the communities of people. So the place is very important because the language style of people reflect the place they belong to. The kind of language that they use shows the fact that where they are coming from. So social linguistics is the descriptive study of the effect of any or all aspects of language, including the cultural, the expectations, context, and the effect of language use in society. Under socio-linguistics, one of the major concept is speech community. How we can identify our speech community or what is a speech community. So, speech community is a term in social linguistics and linguistic anthropology used to describe a group of people who share the same language. For example, the Keralites or the Malayalis, they use same language, so that can be considered as a speech community. Speech characteristics and the way of interpreting communication. The concept of speech community plays a role in a number of social sciences, namely sociology, anthropology, linguistics, even in psychology. So this particular branch is not just limited in the field of linguistics alone. It has a significance in sociology, anthropology, psychology, etc. So the people who study issues of migration and ethnic identity issue use social community theory to study things like how immigrants assimilate into larger societies, for instance. Whereas in the case of academics focus on the racial, ethnic, sexual, or gender issues and apply the social community theory when they study issues of the personal identity and politics. Okay, so this is one of the important fields in sociolinguistics. The next concept is the speech situation. According to the situation, the kind of language we use may vary or will be different. The speech situation is the social context of interaction. It is determined by different situational factors, the elements of a speech situation, which includes the participants and their social relations, the location or the physical setting for communication, the purpose of communication, the topic, what is being talked about, the mode or channel of linguistic expression, spoken or written language, and together these factors make up the speech situation. For example, the kind of language that we use in school will be totally different from the kind of language that we use in a home, or the kind of words we use in a market won't be same that we use in a college. So according to the speech situation, the geographical place or the situation where we utter the words, it also influences the kind of words that we utter. Uh, for example, the kind of language that we use in a speech won't be the same of that we use in a regular communication. So according to the situation, the kind of language we use varies. Next concept is the speech events. So all social activities in which language plays an important role can be referred to as a speech event. But it is not just limited to the spoken form. We apply this in the written communication also. The last concept which we're going to discuss in the branches of linguistics is the bilingualism and multilingualism. This is very common term. We already know bilingualism is a phenomenon in which a person can speak more than one language, and multilingualism is the situation where the person can speak more than two languages. And we know that the situation in which whole societies are bilingual. For example, people in India or people in Pakistan can handle more than one language. We Malayalis can handle our own mother tongue as well as other languages like Hindi or English. So those conditions are called as the bilingualism or multilingualism. So these are the major concepts that comes under the title branches of linguistics. Hope you have enjoyed the class. Thank you.